So today we're going to talk about sigma notation, which is a summation symbol. So put me on pause, try this, and come back and check your answers. Okay, so it says, Ken wants to get more exercise. So he begins by walking 30 minutes each day for 1 week. Ken increases the length of the time that he walks 5 minutes by 5 minutes each day. Write a sequence of time for each day. How many minutes total did he walk after 1 week? Okay, so on day 1, so let's say on Monday, he begins by walking 30 minutes. And then on Tuesday, he increases it by 5 minutes, so he walks 35 minutes. On Wednesday, he walks 40 minutes. On Thursday, he walks 45. On Friday, he walks 50. On Saturday, he walks 55. And then on Sunday, he walks 60. So it says to write a sequence of time for each day. So my sequence would be 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and 55. So what is his total? So for how long did he walk in total after 1 week? So you would add these all up and you would get 295 minutes. Okay, so what we're going to work on today is talk about what a series is. That's the sum of the terms of a sequence. So to represent the sum, there's this symbol here. It's called sigma. It's a Greek letter. And this indicates sum. So this is called sigma notation. Okay, that is sigma notation. All right, so when you see this big, gigantic E, that means you're going to be adding. The number on top, that's your upper bound. And that's the number you're going to end with. So it's the number you stop at. The bottom number, this number down here, that's considered your lower bound. That's the number you're going to start with. So you're going to start with this number, you're going to go all the way up, and you're going to stop with that number. And whatever is here, whatever that is, K, it could be K plus 2, it could be 5K plus 11. That's what you're evaluating. Okay, so what you do is you plug in the numbers from the lower bound up to and including the upper bound number into K, and you evaluate. And then when you're done, you add them all up, because that's what that big E means. It means to add everything up. All right, so let's take a look at our first example. All right, so I have this big E. I'm going from K equals 1 up to K equals 7. I'm evaluating K plus 5. All right, so on this side here, I'm going to start with K equals 1. And then I'm going to plug in 1 for K. So it's 1 plus 5, and that equals 5. And then I go to 2. K equals 2. So it's 2 plus 5, which is equal to 7. And then I do K equals 3. So that's 3 plus 5, which is equal to 8. K equals 4. We're going all the way up to 7. So that's 4 plus 5, which is equal to 9. And then I have K equals 5. So that's 5 plus 5, which is equal to 10. K equals 6. So that's 6 plus 5, which is equal to 11. So let's see what I have here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have to get up to 7. So my next one would be K is equal to 7. So 7 plus 5 is 12. And then the last thing is you add all those numbers up. And when you add all of those numbers up, so you plug them into your calculator, and when you add up all those numbers, you get 63. So that would be my answer, 63. Okay, so let's try the next one over here on the side. Okay, so notice that in my evaluation, I have N. That's what you plug in your numbers in. You plug in your numbers into N. All right, and then there's an I there. So remember imaginary numbers, that the square root of negative 1 is equal to I. Usually they would say that on the regions for a problem like this. Okay, so I'm going to start with N is equal to 0. So I have 2I to the 0 power, and I to the 0 power is just 1. Remember, you could plug this in your calculator. You do the I part. So 2I to the 0 is equal to 2. You're going to do n is equal to 1. So it's 2I to the first power, which is just equal to 2I. N is equal to 2. So that's 2I squared. Remember, I squared is equal to negative 1, so that's negative 2. N is equal to 3. So that's 2I to the third. I to the third is negative I, so that's negative 2I. N is equal to 4. So that's 2I to the fourth. And 2I to the fourth is 2. And n is equal to 5. So that's 2I to the fifth power, which is equal to 2I. Okay, so we add them up. So I have 2 minus 2, so that's 0. And then I have plus 2. So remember, I'm just combining like terms. 2I minus 2I, well, that's 0. And then I have plus 2I. So my answer is 2 plus 2I. Okay, so flip it over and let's take a look on the back. Okay, so we're going to talk about number 3, and I want to talk about what it means when you have this 3 on the outside. So it can be represented by 2 different ways. So this here is the same thing, and I'm going to do this 2 different ways so you can see you get the same answer either way. It's the same thing as having the summation of k equals 1 up to 4 of 3k. So if I do it like this, I add up my numbers and then multiply by 3. It's the same thing as if I multiply each one by 3 and then add up the numbers. All right, so let's start with the one on the left. So I'm going to start with k equals 1, which is just going to be 1 because it's just k. K equals 2, which is just 2. K equals 3, which is 3. And k equals 4, which is just 4. I add them up. So I have 4 and 3 is 7, so I get 10. Now I'm going to multiply my sum. I'm multiplying my sum after I add them up by 3. So multiply by 3 and I get 30. All right, now what if I multiply each one by 3 and then add them up? That's going to be on the right side. So I'm going to start with k equals 1. So that's 3 times 1 is 3. K equals 2. So that's 3 times 2, which is equal to 6. K equals 3. So that's 3 times 3, which is equal to 9. And then k equals 4, which is 3 times 4, and that's equal to 12. And I add them all up, and I get 30. I get the same exact answer. So either way you do this type of problem is okay. All right, let's take a look at 4. Same thing with number 4. There's 2 different ways you can do this problem. So this is equivalent to having the summation of x equals 1 up to 3 of 2x plus the summation of x equals 1 up to 3 of 3x. So you could do each one separately and then add them together, or you could do the whole thing together. You get the same exact thing. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to start on the left. So I'm going to start with x equals 1. So that's going to be 2 times 1 plus 3 times 1. So that's 3 plus 2 is 5. X is equal to 2. So that's 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 3 times 2, which is 6. So it's 4 plus 6 is 10. And then x is equal to 3. So that's 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 3 times 3, which is 9. So that's 6 plus 9 is 15, and I add them up, and I get 30. All right, so now if I separate them, you'll see you get the same exact thing, and then add them. So x equals 1, so that's 2 times 1 is 2. X equals 2, so that's 2 times 2 is 4. X equals 3, so that's 2 times 3, which is equal to 6. Add those up, and I get 12. Now I'm going to add that to the other side. Okay, so I have x equals 1, so that's 3 times 1, which is 3. So that's a 3 here. And then I have x equals 2. So that's 3 times 2, which is 6. And x equals 3, which is 3 times 3, and that's 9. So you get 18 when you add them up. And then when you do 12 plus 18, you get 30. So either way, you get the same exact answer. Okay, so it's pretty basic, not too hard. We'll practice in class tomorrow. Have a good night.